So I've been on the Randbats grind for a while now, and in fact since I started playing Pokemon again, it's the only format I've been playing. And what just started out as me casually playing for fun after not playing Showdown for almost a year quickly turned into something that I got addicted to and wanted to climb the ranks. Before I started doing this, I hadn't played Randbats too seriously and always thought getting to the top was like impossible. I mean, top 10 is essentially always above 2400 or close to at the very least. However, being as stupid and committed as I am, I decided this was something I was going to aim for. And after several months of playing every now and then, I found myself getting closer and closer to the top, to the point where in more recent months I would hit the 2300 several times. I was so close, however, this is the point where it actually gets difficult and tedious. Getting unlucky becomes extremely frustrating, especially when a lot of the time you are getting 10 to 15 points from winning and up to minus 30 for losing. And when things aren't going your way, it's very easy to tilt, and that leads to you making bad decisions and not thinking things through properly, and ultimately dropping sometimes even hundreds of points. Anyway, I've been playing probably way too much recently, determined to get to top 10 sooner rather than later, and that leads to this video, where I made the incredibly dumb decision to stay up all night, and I mean all night, in an attempt to hit top 10. Here's how it went. I'm just going to go through replays, and I don't want this video to be forever, so let's just say it was a lot of up and down. I got to within 1 or 2 games a few times, and losing at that point is really discouraging. However, at like 7 AM this game happened. So I lead with Haxorus as he leads with Hydreigon. Obviously not wanting to stay in and take a Draco, I switched to my Mawile. Now the thing about this is Hydreigon can be Life Orb, and if it has Fire Blast it's actually a roll to kill my Mawile, so I'm going to scout for it by switching out into my Azelf here, and he also switches out into his Heatran, which makes me believe that his Hydreigon may be locked in, either that or he just doesn't want to risk it. So I just go for a U-turn here to break the balloon and go back into my Haxorus to try and threaten this thing. This Heatran's actually a big problem to my team, and I don't switch into it great. I am lucky to avoid the lava plume, and I Dragon Dance up, but you know, Bronzong just completely shuts it down. So I go to my Azelf here as he goes for an Iron Head, and I'm just going to set up my rocks at this point to start trying to chip down his team. Go for another U-turn, switch back out into my Haxorus. It's the best switching I have to this. He actually goes for the Flash Cannon that time to do a lot more damage, and here I'm going to double into my Pikachu, expecting the Bronzong, because I need to start getting some momentum here, and I can't just let the Bronzong come in for free. So what I do here is gives myself an opportunity to go for a knockoff and get some value out of the turn regardless. No matter what he goes into, getting rid of the item's nice. So we actually do see it's Life Orb Hydreigon here, which is so he just didn't want to risk the roll at the beginning, which is fine. I'm going to go back to my Mawile on the Flash Cannon, and I'm just going to stay in because I really do not switch into this well at all. And I just go for a player off, and luckily for me he doesn't actually go for the Fire Blast. So now he goes Heatran. I'm just going to sucker this. Like I said, I don't switch into the Heatran well, and this Mawile's done its job getting rid of the Hydreigon, so I can just chip it down with a Sucker Punch. So now my Pikachu can come in and kill it with a Volt Tackle, and he reveals his own Pikachu. This is a big problem for my team also, so I'm just going to Dynamax mine right here in an attempt to get rid of his, or at least bring it down very low. Obviously he gets rid of my Light Ball here, which is expected, and at least I get a good amount of chip off there. He reveals his Cramorant, which doesn't take this the greatest, but I'm just going to Max Darkness again, so he can't go straight back into the Pikachu here, and I also know I can live whatever he goes for. So he didn't switch, so it's going to be a double down here, which is fine by me. I got a lot of damage off on his Pikachu, and I get rid of the Cramorant. So at this point I'm just going to Fire Blast because it will kill the Pikachu and it will two-shot the incoming Bronzong, and that's exactly what he does, which is great for me. Obviously this Bronzong is walling my Haxorus and is just annoying in general, so I can just keep Fire Blasting here as he reveals his final Pokemon to be Cursor. And yeah, obviously that doesn't do too much. I can U-turn out here though, and switch into my Indeedee. This can threaten it, obviously. And I'm Life Orb, so I have Mystical Fire for the Bronzong, and nothing wants to switch into an Expanding Force. So I get the kill on Cursely here. He goes back into his Pikachu, and at this point I'm willing to sack the Haxorus because it's the least valuable at this point, which allows me to just go Azelf here to finish off the Pikachu, go into my Butterfree on the Bronzong, and I can just sleep out of here. I have Mystical Fire on the Indeedee, and I also have Fire Blast on the Azelf here. So even if I miss, like, it stalls out his Dynamax turns. So we hit the second one, and yeah, that's pretty much going to be that. I can just Bug Buzz here. There's no real reason to Quiver Dance. I'm just going to do that, and yeah, he doesn't wake up, which allows my Butterfree to finish the game. And I actually have it cut off the screen here, but that got me to 2381, which ended up being 2383, I believe. And so obviously immediately after this game, that's not enough to hit top 10. However, there is Decay, and after at a certain amount, whatever time it is, if you haven't played more than 5 games, you decay down. So there's a good chance that when Decay kicks in, that will actually be enough for top 10. And yeah, so this is where I stopped playing, and because I felt there was a good chance that I hit top 10 with this. So it was just a waiting game after that. And yeah, what I set out to do, I achieved, which was awesome. Definitely worth it, even though it was a stupid idea. And yeah, that's basically getting top 10. However, I didn't stop there. The next day, I kept going, and yeah, this is what happened. So at this point, I was like, the next day, again, like I said, if you don't play enough, you decay. So I was like, I might as well just keep going and try and get as high as I can, obviously. So this was the first game of the next day. I lead with Darmanitan, as he has a Turtonator. And yeah, I have a Blissey, which obviously can completely shut this down, which is nice. I'm just going to go for a Toxic here, as I can get it off on the Rhyperior as he switches in, which is nice for me. I do not switch into this well, however, I do have Passimium. I don't remember if this is Scarf or Band. I think it's Scarf. And I can go for a Knockoff because, again, like I said, Knockoffs is just such a good move in this. And yeah, I go my Stunfisk here and get my Rocks up as he gets his wish. Now I can obviously just go back to Blissey, and this will wall it too. So far Blissey is great for the Turtonator and the Sylveon. I switch into my Frostmoth here because he also can't really touch it, and it allows me to Quiver Dance up as he switches into his Rhyperior. So this puts me in a good position. I'm just gonna Ice Beam. If he wants to Dynamax, that's fine. And also the main thing is, like, if I have Giga Drain, like, he dies. So he has no way of knowing whether I have it or not. So while Ice Beam won't be enough on its own, he probably shouldn't risk it. So he goes back to his Sylveon, and I can just Quiver Dance up again. Yes, he has Mystical Fire, but it's still giving me the Spadef boost. And here I'm just going to decide to Dynamax my Frostmoth and start getting as much value as I can, because I can kill the Sylveon here, which is annoying, especially for like my Passimian. And yeah, it's going to force and the thing is, he still doesn't know whether I have Giga Drain or not, and if I do, even if he Dynamaxes his Rhyperior, he will die. So he still goes Rhyperior. I guess he's just banking off the fact that I don't have it. I didn't have it, and I actually get pretty lucky here with a crit, and yeah, that just ends the game right there. But either way, Frostmoth was going to kill the Rhyperior with Toxic anyway, so it was still going to put me in a pretty good position. This moved me up only 7 points to 2389. However, However, I believe that was enough to get me to 8th on the ladder, and I just kept going. So this is the next game. We have... He leads with Whimsicott as I lead with Inteleon. I'm just going to go to my Dramp here expecting Energy Ball or Stun Spore. I don't really care if my Dramper gets paralyzed, and also I highly doubt he goes for Moonblast. And yeah, basically by getting my Dramper in here, if he chooses to Moonblast the following turn, I get the Berserk special attack raise and can just do a lot of damage to something, really. So he opts to U-turn out instead of going for the Moonblast. I'm just going to Fire Blast here, and he reveals the Dragalge. So I'm going to go into my Cobalion here on most likely Toxic Spike. Yes, this thing does have Focus Blast, however it will not kill. So I decide to SD up and make this Cobalion a bigger threat as possible. I Iron Head here, and yeah, he misses the Focus Blast, but I mean, that's pretty good chance of happening when you're clicking Focus Blast, and I figured between Iron Head Flinch and that, it's actually pretty decent odds, and if my Cobalion does die, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I get lucky there, and he misses a second one. This turns out really well for me, essentially killing the Dragalge, which is very nice. And now he's going to go back to Whimsicott. I assume Moonblast this time, so I'm going to switch into my Genesect and keep the Cobalion. I'm just going to Iron Head here. As he switches into his Excadrill, I get a crit, which is nice, which actually means the following Blaze Kick will kill this, because I am Life Orb. And yeah, he lets the Excadrill die. I guess he hoped I didn't have it. And then he goes to Moltres Galar, and this is a big threat. If you do not play Randbats, yeah, Moltres Galar is like one of the best ones you can get with Nasty Plot, and then obviously Resto Chesto, and the ability to Dynamax and raise its speed as well. So I'm not trying to mess around with this, and if I ran the calcs here, if I Dynamax and get the damage off as he sets up, then even if he Dynamaxes the following turn, it's actually a pretty good roll in my favor to kill this. So I decide I'm not going to mess around with this Moltres. I just Dynamax and go for the max Steel Spike, as he does go for the Nasty Plot. He's at +3 now. But like I said, this is a good roll in my favor to kill it, and I get it, which is huge because that is such a problem. And yeah, he's just going to forfeit at that point, and this was +18 for winning, which got me to 2407. So he hit the 2400s, which I believe got me 5th on the ladder. So yeah, we were going well, so I just keep going at this point. So next up, he leads with Swoobat as I have a Rillaboom. Obviously I'm not trying to take an Air Slash from this. This is banded, and obviously Rillaboom is very good, so I'm going to switch here as he is also going to switch. I thought about just taking the Air Slash and going for a knockoff, but it's not really worth it to take that much, and he could flinch anyway. But he also switches, so he goes Urshifu as I go Rhyperior. This is a huge problem, so I have to go hard into my Heracross here. It could take a hit, and it was like the only thing on my team that could take take a hit from this thing, as he does reveal to be the Bulk Up Leftovers set. So I'm just going to close combat. It does a lot, and yeah, this thing's obviously a big problem, so I'm just going to close combat again. He actually cannot kill me because these things run Wicked Blow and Drain Punch. So yeah, we just live, which is huge, and are able to kill off the Urshifu. He reveals Conkeldurr here. I expect the Mach Punch, and I'm just going to switch into my Wishy Washy. No reason to sack the Heracross. If he were to go for something else, that's fine anyway. He follows it up with a Close Combat, which does a lot, and I'm able to Ice Beam here. Could have Hydroed, but I figured I do not want to miss. I just want to make sure I get damage off on this thing. Plus it also hits the Swoobat coming in, so yeah, Ice Beam was fine there. As he follows up with a knockoff, and here I can go Rillaboom and just go for a knockoff of my own to kill the Conkeldurr. He goes back to Swoobat now. Again, I'm just going to go straight into my Rhyperior. I do not want to mess around with this thing. I'm just going to Dynamax also, because if he Dynamaxed here and I didn't, then he actually kills me. So, excuse me. He actually kills me here. So I just Dynamax this. This is looking like a big problem. And he's already had Urshifu and Conkeldurr, so like he's just got a team of threats at this point. He opts to not Dynamax his, and I kill it with the max Rockfall. He now goes Mimikyu. I'm just going to hit this thing again. Go for the max Quake because it gives me a Spadef boost. And yeah, he goes for the SD here. And he goes for the play rough, so he doesn't choose to Dynamax. He just lets it die, which is interesting. I figured you would Dynamax there, but no. So I killed that as well, and now he goes Torn, which definitely can't kill me unless he has Grass Knot, of course. But he doesn't have that either, so I just kill it with Stone Edge. And yeah, Rhyperior has just gone through this guy's entire team and takes a hit from Alakazam and kills it. And again, he didn't Dynamax, so I'm really not sure why he didn't. However, Rhyperior went crazy that game, and that got me to 24-14. So we keep going. Next game. Alright, so next game, I have Clefable as he leads with Basculin. I have an Appletun here which can just take every hit easily, as he does just go for a Liquidation, which is fine. I'm just going to Leech Seed here to hit whatever comes in. Unfortunately, he does have Sceptile and goes for that. However, I'm just going to Dragon Pulse because Sceptile can't touch me, as he does reveal the Aromatisse. So I'll switch here into my Clefable as he goes for a Moonblast. It does do a lot. And I opt to go for my rocks here as opposed to soft boiling, because I figured getting the rocks up early are good. And yeah, I have a Zapdos for this Scizor, which is really good. It is static. Unfortunately, we don't get it here. And I U-turn expecting him to switch, but he actually stays in himself. So I thought he might U-turn there, but he actually goes for the knockoff. I don't really know why he chose to stay in there, especially seeing these run like Heat Wave and Discharge, and yeah, I don't know. But I do have Quagsire, so I'll go to that. And yeah, just go for a recover to get my health back. Goes back to his Aromatisse. I'm just going to go back to Clefable again. I can soft boiled on this. So I'm just going to do that. And this is Life Orb Clefable, by the way. So yeah, here I soft boiled again as he starts Calm Minding. And now that's doing a lot. So yeah, I can't really keep healing on this anymore. So I do go back to my Quagsire as it is unaware. But he decides to Dynamax here as I recover and go for a max Starfall. So that does quite a lot. I do not want to let my Quagsire go down because it's very good in just checking things with unaware, and then also it's good for the Scizor. So I decide to go into my Kloitzer here to waste a Dynamax turn and get off a Water Pulse as he kills my Kloitzer. But at least I stalled out his Dynamax. And this allows me to go back to Clef and go for soft boileds again. But at this point I just have to Moonblast it. Like, my team does not deal well with this Aromatisse, so it was actually really smart of him to Dynamax it. And yeah, as you can see, like, I don't have the best answers for this. And the reason I go Clefable here to just soft boiled and Moonblast is because Misty Terrain is up, and my only way of like beating this Aromatisse at this point is to get a Toxic off with Quagsire. So I have to store up the Misty Terrain, which is what I do, and now I can go Quagsire and get a Toxic off. Or not get a Toxic off, recover first. I have to recover until I get out of range of Moonblast, and then I can go for the Toxic and keep my Quagsire. So I'm going to go for one more recover, or two more recovers. Yeah, two more recovers, just to get myself as healthy as I can before I Toxic this thing. So one more recover there, and now I go for the Toxic to put this thing on a timer. It's like my only way of beating it. As you can see, I do not deal well with Aromatisse, and now I'm just going to keep recovering again, and with the Toxic, I will be able to beat it at this point. He does go hard into Sceptile though, and I'm going to switch into my Appletun, and he reveals Galarian Darmanitan, which is a huge problem. As you can see, my team does not deal well with it. So yeah, I switch to my Quagsire here, and I get pretty lucky here with the Icicle Crash miss. However, it doesn't matter because he flinches me. So Quagsire goes down here, and yeah, I have Kyurem in the back. It's my best way to deal with this at this point. So I decide to Dynamax it. I kind of have to. He does decide to switch into Scizor though, and go for a Bullet Punch, which is fine. We get rid of the Scizor. However, this Darmanitan is looking like a big issue. He's going to go Sceptile here, and I thought he would sub, but nah, he just goes for the Focus Blast for damage, which is actually probably better because now it puts it in range of Darmanitan for him. So yeah, that's smart by him. I just decide to go to my Zapdos here on a likely Superpower because nothing Basculin could do could kill my Kyurem, so the obvious thing is he has to have Superpower. So I go that, and we don't get Static again, which is unfortunate. And he goes straight into his Moltres here as I go for a Discharge, because I cannot let the Darmanitan switch in for free. And if he went into it there, that would be ideal for me, because as you can see, I just lose to it at this point. So I get the Para on the Moltres, doesn't matter though, I kill it. And yeah, now he can go Darmanitan. And yeah, obviously it kills my Zapdos and it kills my Kyurem. However, my Appletun, I believe it's like 85 to 101 roll to kill. So Appletun actually will take one unless he max rolls it. But as you can see here, he misses, which is extremely fortunate for me because it allows me to keep my Appletun at full. And yeah, obviously if my Appletun's low at this point, I will just die to the Aromatisse, and then at that point I lose. So that's extremely fortunate for me. Definitely get lucky here by dodging that Icicle Crash. Now I can just Leech Seed the Aromatisse as he starts going for Calm Mind. But because my Appletun is healthy, I'm actually able to take this on. But yeah, I get a crit too, which is also very lucky to be able to kill off this Aromatisse. And yeah, at this point at this point with his Basculin, the only way he kills me is with Superpower. So I just decide to go to my Kyurem so that his attack drops, and then he cannot kill my Appletun the following turn. And if he clicks anything else besides Superpower, he can't kill me anyway. So yeah, we are able to get extremely lucky this game and win it, which was huge because yeah, that gets us to 24, which I believe is still 5th. No, actually it was 4th. So we're at 4th on the ladder right now. And yeah, Appletun went insane there. The most shifty Appletun you've ever seen. So next game here. Alright, so next game I lead with Terrakion as he leads with Charizard. That's a very good lead for me. I have no reason to predict. I'm just going to Stone Edge, and he decides to stay in, and it just dies. So he goes Durant here. Fortunately, I have a Gastrodon, and I have a Tapu Koko in the back, which is faster. So my Gastrodon can take this. I can go for a Scald, hopefully burn it, but either way, I can stall his Dynamax a little bit and put it in range of my Tapu Koko. So now I just go Tapu Koko here, and I'm going to max guard to stall the final turn to make sure I kill the following turn. As yeah, he's going to switch here into his Tyranitar as I go for the max lightning. I'm just going to go for the Dazzle at this point, or the Starfall, which brings his Tyranitar really low, and he misses Stone Edge, which is pretty nice for me. It wouldn't have done too much though. And I'm just going to Dazzle to kill it here, and yeah, we get rid of Tyranitar, which is very good. So now he reveals the Glalie, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to lose this. Glalie is such a problem with Moody. I have to go straight into my Terrakion here, because I cannot mess around with this thing. Yeah, so I go straight to Terrakion, and I'm just going to click CC as he goes for Protect, classic Glalie shenanigans. And yeah, so he doesn't get speed there. I'm just going to go for another CC, which does so much to Suicune and just kills it off. So clearly he doesn't deal very well with Terrakion. I mean, no team really does. He's going to go back to his Durant here, as I'm just going to go my Executor, because it can take the Iron Head, and yeah, he misses the Iron Head there, which is pretty fortunate. I can Psychic to bring him low, and he'll just die to the Life Orb. So the Glalie is still a problem though. I go back immediately into my Terrakion. However, the problem is now he can stall me out of close combats, and I do not want to go for Stone Edge. Obviously, you're bound to miss, and then this thing's just going to win the game. So I'm just going to break his sub here, and then my only... he actually has Disable as well, so I don't even break his sub, which means he is not Earthquake though. So now, like, my only real option here is to go Alcremie and just hope he doesn't get the... hope he doesn't get too many special attack boosts early. And yeah, I was definitely thinking I was going to lose here. However, Alcremie... however, he doesn't get too many special attack boosts early on, and I'm just going to start Calm Minding. It's my only option is to go to a Calm Mind War with this. And at this point, I just need him to not get special defense so that I can break his substitutes and deal enough damage. And this Alcremie has Dazzle and Psychic, so it doesn't... Disable doesn't really matter as long as he doesn't get too high speed F. Anyway, I'm just going to keep Calm Minding here. Obviously, he can freeze too, which is an issue. But I don't really have an option at this point. I just have to keep going for it. So, yeah, I mean, it's just Calm Mind, Substitute, Protect here. Can I speed it up? Yeah, there we go. Here. This is faster now. I mean, I'm almost at max, and then I'm just going to start attacking this thing. As, yeah, he just keeps going for freeze dries. Luckily, he hasn't got too high special attack boosts, and he also hasn't got too high special defense boosts, which is good. Yeah, we're at max now, so I just start attacking. He does Disable. Oh, yeah. I actually forgot that. I didn't even know that's how that worked. But, yeah, Aroma Veil blocks Disable. I kind of forgot that that's how that worked, to be honest. And when I was playing this, I didn't remember, and I actually forgot again. So, I mean, it didn't matter either way. But, yeah, that's actually cool. So, he just keeps protecting. I mean, it's his best option. I just have to keep attacking. Yeah, this is pretty slow and drawn out. He is getting special defense boost now, which is a little annoying. However, you know, I don't really have any other play here. He does eventually get the freeze. However, like with just freeze dry, he can't do enough damage to me even if he gets the freeze. So yeah, it's just kind of a waiting game at this point. I unfreeze and yeah, just keep attacking as he keeps protecting. Pretty slow, and yeah, I kill it there, and that is GG at that point. So this got me all the way up to 2437 or 2438. Which was actually enough for top 3. So I hit top 3, which is honestly crazy. I was not expecting that going into this. I mean, top 10 was hard enough to hit, but then to be able to get top 3. Yeah, pretty crazy, honestly. Yeah, so after this, I had to play one more game to not get the K. So I played another game, and if I won it, I think I got second or first. And I would actually like to show the game because it was pretty interesting. Definitely got unlucky a bit by getting body slam parried immediately and then just not being out and then just getting fully paralyzed. So I did end up losing that game. I actually really wanted to show it though, because it was still a good game and it went down to the wire. However, I don't have the replay and I can't find it. So yeah. Anyway, this is where the run ended. 24-38, top 3 on the ladder, which is honestly crazy. I did not expect that going into this, and yeah, definitely got a little bit lucky in this game with the Appletun, but I will take it. Honestly, with how crazy Randbats are, you get unlucky a lot of the time and it's really frustrating. So, you know, having some luck go my way in that game was very nice. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you all next time. Peace.